Okay. Why don't I ever put this thing away and then I trip over it 15 times and I still haven't fixed the leak? I literally own a hose business, hydraulic hoses, right? But I'm the man with the tape together, the airline. Like, it's like the old mechanic doesn't fix his own car thing, isn't it? So, for the last probably 4 weeks, I'm going to the effort of actually turning the air off, like at the mains, because otherwise it just goes forever. And the compressor's always running. Why don't I just take it and go and, I've only got to take it over there. Lazy? I don't know. Anyway, we're having a bit of a scenario with the microphone emojis. Really expensive. And I keep dropping it because it's got a little magnet and it sort of goes up under you in your jumper and sits there and chills, and it's great. Like on the live stream the other day, we just got the, if you're sitting there, it's great, not a problem, perfect. If you're in the mix, so to speak, and you lean in a car, all you get to hear is or it just pings off and you drop it and then the magnet smashes into 27 pieces, or maybe 29, I don't know. So I'm just trying to think of other things. So I'm trying it here, hello, but I don't know, it might be really quiet if I go like this, and it might be really loud if I go like this, I don't know. Whatever, where are we anyway? Today is Friday. It's like end of the week that I haven't really filmed much because we've done the live stream and work's been a bit busy, and then the sign writing, and I was meant to film loads yesterday. So if you're tuning in to go, oh, Dan was down, I want to see some sign writing, there's not a lot to show because we just had a mad one. Where he's turned into a YouTube celebrity overnight, his phone didn't stop ringing, so we couldn't film much because his phone was just ringing flat out. And then when it wasn't, I was pricing up jobs and it was a bit mad. And then about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was like, oh, I'll get the cameras out and we'll film a little bit before I do the school run. And then Rob Brown blew a hose on a thing up in the field up there, and I was up that a ways fixing stuff. So yeah, didn't really get to do much. Where are we? A week today, hopefully, we will be at Mildenhall for the weekender. We want to try and get up there on a Friday night. So we've still got a lot to do. A few bits to do on the P4. Not a lot, to be fair, just a little bit tuning in and then the usual, putting a mirror in it, tightening down the battery tray, charging up the battery, that sort of thing. There's a couple of bolts I've got to cut off inside, like where the footplate comes through, so I don't get one through the hill. And the Jag axle is in, obviously, that you saw last week. The steel hubs are now on it. These steel hubs are quite good. They replace, on a Jag, they normally have an aluminium hub. There's a goose flew over, it sounded a bit strange. These steel hubs are not standard, and there's a few people that make those. So they are made for an X300 Jag, which is obviously the normal one I race, but they also fit on these series Jag axles if you change the drive shaft. Fun fact. So normally they would have an aluminium hub on a Jag, on the X300 and on these, and then if you get caught through the wheel, you end up with the wheel that flaps about all over the place. It's only held on by the drive shaft and you can't go anywhere. So there's a few people that make them. These ones I've got are made by Callum White, and the normal like X300 wheel bearing just drops straight in them. They're all laser cut and machined and CNC'd, and not something that I get involved in, but they work. I've got 2 sets. So the leaky axle, remember the leaky diff axle that's sat on the bench over there that's going for a rebuild? I've just took the hubs off of that to put on this for time being, for the weekend. So yeah, mine are Callum White ones, but there is a few people that do them if anyone's getting into the Jags at racing. I think Ash Riley from the Bears makes them, and Phil Lamley makes them, I think, and Callum White, like the ones I've got. So there's a few different places, a few different prices you can get them. They all sort of do the same thing. So where are we up to? That's nearly done. I did have, where did I put them? Safe place? Hello, safe place. Come in. Ah, safe place. Now, when I raced at a World Final, because it's got the steel hubs that are made for an X300, X300 has, or the XJ40 or whatever, has the calipers on the hub. So these are made with a pickup point for the calipers and a disc. Same both sides, as you can see, matching pair. However, on a series axle standard, it's inboard brakes, so the disc is in here next to the diff, and this is the axle out of the roller. One caliper was broke anyway, but I've got one here, so I've just made a new pipe and I'm just using that one. Only 4. You're regulated by what wheels you can then use. The pepper pot, for example, thanks to Jamie McGangus who dropped that off the other night, they don't fit very nicely over the disc and the caliper without grinding the calipers right down and faffing about. So on this, just going for a bit of a crash and doesn't really matter. I can use up some of the wheels that I wouldn't normally use in an X300. So I'll run the inboard brakes, no discs, and then any 5x120. So what is that in American? 5x4.5 or 5x5? Don't know. Haven't got the maths. But what I'm saying is a lot of the different wheels or the skinny BMW wheels and stuff that would normally rub on the calipers, I can chuck anything on the back. So it just gives me a little bit more range for the weekend. Prop shaft and exhaust has got to go on. Exhaust is here. This is an Edwards exhaust. I think Simpson make one very similar. Failing that, you can have one like the one on the other Jag, where we made it ourselves, just using a old pattern cat that's got the middles knocked out of it. Sounds really loud, don't know if it makes it go any faster. Hello in there. Don't know. But that's sat there next to me, so that's getting bolted on. Prop shaft is like the ones on the other Jags that we've got. It's telescopic. So obviously that you can get, the axle can go when you have a crash and it all slides up. Are you bothered about seeing how that works? I know everyone from racing will understand how that works. I'll show you. Let me just wait there a minute. Okay. And this is like designed in-house. This is patent product, this particular model. So, that's the centre bearing plate that bolts up through the floor. Front half is on a slider, so that your engine can come back, or the middle of your car can go forwards, I suppose, and that slides up. I use a Mazda RX-8 gearbox, and with those in particular, this needs to be fully inserted in the gearbox, no pun intended, to stop it leaking. So when that's bolted up, that's got a spring in it. Somewheres. Drop that. That then goes in there, centre bearing bolts up, and the other part of that bit of PTO shaft is bolted on the diff. So obviously that will slide in there, that will slide in there. Technically, the axle could move forward about 2 foot and we should still be able to do a big wheel spin. Probably won't, but theoretically. So while we're up in the air, I've got to do prop shaft, exhaust, clutch cable, wire the starter motor up, and then we can come down, probably turn it around and then do the other bits the other way around. Let's stop talking about it. Let's just get on with it. Yeah, I don't like to charge up my gun batteries, so they're always flat. Oh. Old money, 1/2-inch bolt. To anyone under the age of 20, that's a 13mm. Okay, that took about 467 hours, longer than it needed to. Turns out my design for the prop shaft wasn't that straightforward after all. But it's on. Let's get the exhaust on. But Wayne's just turned up and he's made the tea. So first, let's have a cup of tea. Then we'll get the exhaust on. Cheers, Wayne.
If it tastes strange to you, mate, it's not tea, it's coffee.
Wayne's made the coffee. Right. Stop. Pause play on the Jag for a minute because me and Wayne are worrying slightly about Tyler's water outlet that still had the thermostat stuck in it, and his mentality was it'll be okay. The idea of a thermostat, for those that don't know, Wayne?
Well, it's when the when the water gets to temperature, it opens the thermostat, which lets the water around the engine and through your heater inside.
So from a cold start, it blocks the waterway, so the water that's sat in the engine warms up first, and then it releases the rest of the water through the system. So when you turn your car on at home and you get your heating and your hot air comes on straight away, it's because the thermostat's working. But when they sit for a long time, the thermostat stays shut and won't let the water circulate. So before you've even pulled on the track, your engine starts knocking because it's got no water. Tyler's idea was that'll be fine. So we've managed to get the snap stud is still in there, which we're going to try and get out now. These two we managed to get off. So we're going to bring you in and just try and weld a nut on the stud there and just try and wind her out. What? What's so mystery about that? No.
What's going on there, mate?
Well, I don't understand how this part of the car that's connected to the engine isn't connected to the engine.
Guess that earth and put it on this nut.
That was up the arm.
You got it?
Nearly. Come on, baby. No. Don't burn yourself, Wayne.
That's very, very hot.
I don't understand the science in that. Nice. Don't touch that, man. That's gone white.
Yeah.
That's hotter than Cheryl Cole in the noughties. We just made a little throttle cable scenario up. But I've just had to cut the end of the cable off with the little bibbly bobs. Because the other carburetor, the other bracket for this throttle cable is on the Lowman engine that we took out and sent away after World Final because it blew up. And I've got to take the bracket off. So this was a really good micro throttle cable. And I don't think I've got any left. Now I've cut the end off. So if anyone's got any Nissan micro throttle cables that they don't want, I'll buy a few of them. But, where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? I ain't got a clue. I don't know. Let's do some stuff. What about all this then? Are you just leaving these tools here, are you? Up and away. It's fine.
Oi, I ain't got the right phone on, so I'll say what I like.
It'll probably still hear you.
Well, what I'm going to say is, those all them tools, this is what I found on this bench over here that you left out. And I've moved them closer to the toolbox so you can put them exactly in the place you want them.
Can you take these sockets back that way that you took from that way earlier?
No, these sockets I've got
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
So are these ones.
Hang on.
What are you missing out of that set, Wayne? Hang on. What ones are you missing out of that set, Wayne? Oh, hang on. What have I got here? Just drop that one. I've got one here. And I've got, what are you after? An 8 and a 12. There you go, mate. Quite battery don't smell great. It's been on boil mode for too long.
It's gonna go pop. That on there, that on there.
She's been on the old trickle charge for about 67,000 hours straight. Hopefully it has many amps. This punch set I bought off that geezer in that van
Yeah.
is absolutely
Made of cheese.
rubbish. I was going to think of a better word then, but I couldn't think of one that wasn't profanity.
Hope you don't watch.
I wouldn't mind telling him, to be fair.
Or if he is watching, sell some better ones. Would you like a blow? Oh no, he's alright.
It's alright. Big filter in this one, I know. Cool, that throttle curve's very all or nothing, isn't it? There ain't a spring on it, is there?
Yeah.
What, a turn spring?
Yeah.
Heavy breather, yeah?
Sounded a bit nuky.
You can do your makeup in that mirror, Dan, if you want.
Where's that, mate?
Right in front of your head.
I can't turn it. We'll ruin it there, mate. I don't want to turn that. I might crack it, actually. You're just trying to be nice to me today, aren't you? This is what we was talking about there may be a one stroke of lettering where you can't build anything really up. You only get your one go at doing it. You actually only get one go at doing most things, mate, don't you? If a bit of more light-hearted today. This is what I was saying about preparation of a nice paint surface. You haven't rubbed any of it down. Look,
Right.
and that's then why? Why can't you give me a decent surface? You're expecting me to put something decent paint on there, and you've got ridges and lumps and bumps.
It's painted in a
You
rush.
can't even do something when I ask you. So then I have to struggle over the lumps and bumps that then give me things like that.
I'll give you what, grey hair?
Give me grey hair. This gives me grey hair, look.
Right.
Yeah, grey hair and tearing hairs out of these. I do use a paintbrush, like contrary to popular belief.
Here she is, the old girl. Didn't get much chance to film Dan painting yesterday. You right, Joey? Just work was manic, and after him obviously doing the live and becoming a celebrity, his phone didn't stop ringing yesterday, so we're doing one thing and another. We just didn't get much time to film, which we wanted to do, but I'll have to get him down to do another one. But yeah, not too bad for an old dog. Some fella's YouTube channel on there. We've spent another few hours on this piece of, I don't know what the right word is, and look at the shine on it. We've managed to get the thermostat sorted. That's kind of bypassed. Filled it up with water, and Tyler's made a water tank that's got more holes in it than a sieve, so that's still leaking, as you can see down there. It's kind of running on, go on this Club 7. Yeah, Tyler. Dan's done wonders with the sign writing. Still a fair bit to be done, but Tyler's picking it up this afternoon. He's taking it back to his shed. And he's going to do I don't know what he's going to do, but he's got to do quite a lot. Got to stop the water running out of it for starters. Looks good though. Cub Tropicana. Good evening. It's Monday, the bank holiday one. What is it? 6th or the 7th or something. And it's about 7 o'clock at night, and I've had a weekend with the missus and the kids, and I'm now on my way to the yard. Monday night is yard night, even if it's a bank holiday. So I've got to pull my finger out. The P4 still needs a fair few bits doing to it. The Jag still needs a fair few bits doing to it. I've got loads of wheels and tyres to make up for both. I've got a couple of bits to do on the lorry as well. I've got a few bits to sort out for the weekend itself, i.e. barbecues, gazebos, all that sort of thing, because obviously we're staying there for 2 nights. A lot to sort out. Tomorrow I'm not about. I've got a award ceremony thing to go to with my dad and my sister in regards to my mum. Yeah, so I've only got a couple of days this week. Obviously we've had a bank holiday which has made the week shorter, and I want to leave Friday afternoon if I can, but it's time dependent. Obviously work comes first, and we haven't got many days this week left to play with. Let me just tell you a little bit here about Candy Lane Sweet Treats. When I'm just repairing my vehicles or welding or polishing or working in the garage, I like to make sure I keep going and keep my sugar energies up with Candy Lane Sweet Treats direct from the bag. I chose the blue edition here. You can get the 1 kilogram of sweets here for just £10.99. I particularly like to eat the sweets whilst I catch up with important business calls. Yeah, most definitely. Oh yeah, perfect, goodbye then. Polish my chrome bits. Getting my steps in whilst I wait for the kettle. Who's doing the washing up? That's a sour one. Now, as I sit here watching the world go by, resting one's dealer boot upon a 40-year-old cross pie, I will tell you this. There is many different sweets available, many different sizes, and many different colour selections. There's lots of other many things that I was meant to tell you, and I forgot. However, no, I'm only being silly, don't worry, it's not a 70s top shelf adult sort of video with the silly music and the backdrops. It could have been. It's my sister-in-law and her fella. They've just started this little sweet shop thing as a side hustle, selling bits and bobs on Facebook and whatnot. And they said that if they gave me a bag of sweets, could I plug it? Which I did. I'm not being paid. It's not a paid promotion. YouTube, don't try taking it down for the jaunty little disco beats there and me being silly. However, the link is down in the description to their little page. They've only just got going, so if you fancy some sweets, honestly, they are really nice. And they do a big selection. Have a look, check it out. The coffee was real though. Gonna need plenty of that tonight, I think. Right, we've got a bit of an issue going on with this front corner. Bit of damage from well final. So with these series Jags, a lot of people run the bonnet bolt down through this bit, which should look like this bit, with a holy moly all the way down and through. Ideal world, you'd put the bonnet bolts going upwards with a little spinner on the top, and then you can just sort of like push the bonnet in and it slots in, and then just do your spinner up. But because it was well final and I was trying to be pretty and make it look nice, I did the bonnet bolts the other way around so they went down and the spinner was on the bottom, which is fine until that bent, and it's still in there because that's bent like a banana up in that bit, but it's also torn wide open there, it's torn open there, it's torn open up there, all the wings not connected, so this front corner is actually like pretty air conditioned. So I'm going to crack on and try and put that front corner back together. whilst I'm out of breath, quick safety tip for you, because we're all about health and safety over here at Allstar Garage. Wayne's got obviously one eye, got the weird vision type thing going on, and as much as we might joke about and we'll take the mickey out of himself and we'll take the mickey out of him for it and whatever else, in all seriousness, this is exactly how it happens, and this is what you don't want to happen. When you start hitting a spike or a punch or a chisel or anything like that, naturally, because the hammer is hardened steel, you'll start getting the bit roll over at the top here. As you can see there, it's starting to flake about, peel about. On this one, when it starts turning, I weld it back on. Because that's hardened steel and the hammer's hardened steel, when you strike that, that bit will eventually, as it has done here, will start to fall off. And when it does, that'll come off like a bullet. I've had bits stuck in my arm before I've had to get the hospital to take out, and that is exactly what happened to Wayne's eye. That eye, I don't know which one it was now. But he's hit something like that, and as it's pinged off, it's come directly up, straight in his eye, and buried itself deep into his eye. That to, without being too graphic, remove the said eye to do the operation. So yeah, safety glasses, or at the very least, when it starts splaying over, just weld it back together. There we go, that's all it's getting. Still a bit wobbly, but at least it ain't going to fall off. Bit of 1.5 mil. That's about as much as we're allowed, really. You're not allowed to overlap anything either, so you have to try and make it all so it folds around and touches each bit, so you can't keep layering it. So just trying to attach it so that it don't keep peeling back. That shall do. Right, it's about 1:45 to midnight. I was going to time up some of this welding, but it's just getting a bit repetitive, isn't it? Watching the same thing over and over again. So I was doing a bit here, patching up a hole, and melted the tip on the welder. And I didn't realise, but it was the last one I had, so I've got to order some more of them. But we're nearly done. I've got a tiny little hole here to do, which I'll probably patch up because you catch something and it just tears. So also, this is the door we porta powered out because it was bent in a bit. We've seat belted it up, but if I can get a little bit of plate covering that hole, it's just going to help put a little bit of strength back in the skin there. Same with that one. Obviously, these are prone to snapping. It's starting to go already a little bit. Seat belted it again, but wherever there's a little hole, it's just worth patching it up. Same with this wing, that was all torn off. This front corner's all back together again now. And hopefully we can see all the way through to put a bonnet bolt in it. Yep. Engine's in, carb I've still got to clean. It's piped up, but I've got to put water in it. That one there we welded up earlier, which you've seen. The rear corner's all done. It's got gearbox oil in it, it's got wiring loom in it now. It's got a different fuel pump, fuel filter, coil pack to the last Jag that we raced it, we had the gremlins in. So if it does it again on this one, the only thing it can be is that ECU. So I'll have to get another one of them, but they're not very cheap. So what I'm going to do now is just do, all right, Joey? Just do the last few bits on this, I think, before I go home. It's very late already, but it needs battery charging up and clamping down. I don't think I can get the charger on this one when the battery tray is on top, so that might be down the line, but we're going to sort out all of this old guff that's all flapping about. I think we've got to put a mirror in it, got to have a sweep out because it's full of crap and glass and water butts and whatever else. Couple of bolts to cut down there because otherwise that's going to be an ankle delete. Still got the indicators on it. Nice. And just a bit of a sweep out, got to put a mirror in it. And then this old girl's pretty much ready to go, I think. Right, that's bank holiday done. Monday is finished. It ain't even Monday no more. It's 12:30 in the morning at some time on the Tuesday or something. Which means I've got to go home and get cleaned up because I need to just like touch the pillow and then get back up again. But the P4 is as good as done. I've got a few wheels to make up, which I'll make time for in the week. That's relatively easy, but I've got to do something for the Jag anyway. Apart from charging a battery, so I think I'll do one car Wednesday and one car Thursday. That's it. She's as good as ready to load up. The barbecue needs some attention. Got to sort the gas situation out for that and then get gazebos out and chairs and whatever, because obviously we stay for like 2 days, don't we? Anyway, I'm going home. I'm going to get some sleep. See you tomorrow. Or not. Or maybe Wednesday. What was that?
Just give it the old disco techno lights going down.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah? You still recording?
Yeah, go on, keep going.
No, you're right.
I'm going upstairs.
I'm going down. Deeper, underground.
Oh, lever bar.
Yeah.
Wedged on the brake pedal, yeah?
Just getting rid of the air. Right.
Ugh. Oh no, too old for this.
Just you in?
Yeah.
Alright. Wrong one. Wrong size. Push it down.
What do you want?
All the way down.
Oh. Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
Push it down again. You all the way down?
Yeah.
Pump it up.
Can we pump it?
Yeah.
Probably ain't got no brake.
Many airs in here. Right, hold it down.
Yeah. Stiff leg level 10.
Oh, you dirty girl.
Oh yeah, that felt nice. Squirtage.
Right, pumpkin.
Let me just check the level situation first.
I did top it up.
With what?
The stuff that came out of it.
Which means we must still be low because we've not
No,
actually
because you had
anything.
some in the Easy Bleed bottle and all.
Oh, helpful. That's the brake reservoir that you can't lean on because it's so brittle it falls apart.
Yeah, it's got a hole in it.
Super glued it back together about 27 times. What do you want me to do? Pump it?
Yeah.
It's really stiff pedal.
Right. Hold it down.
This ramp's really bad, but it's even worse when you're up here.
It wobbles. I was in it the other
It's
day.
many bads.
It's when you see the arms pulled towards you. Not,
It goes like that.
Yeah. That's right. So I think if you
It's
get
got to
in
be
it,
the
you can
concrete base, isn't it?
What?
I don't understand why it does it. I know it's only got a ram one side, so that's all on a chain, but when I went and looked at it, when it was in the other geezer's shed, it didn't do that.
Just because it's
Went
not
up together.
It's not lifting 2 ton of jag.
Should we get this finished off, or shall we do the lorry?
Lorry, the bits are there. I can do that. But what have you
We're
got
nearly
left?
done. Wheels and tyres is the main thing. Let's look at the whiteboard of doom. Let's bring you in. Let's do it together. Come on now. Bleed brakes is dunnage.
Yep.
Bonnet bolts, squizzle.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn around and put up the other way because we put them down for world final so that they looked smoother because they had the nut welded on the top, and then obviously that's all bent, isn't it? So I think we've still got the one from this side, but the one that side I've cut, but I've now got the bigger bonnet stud in,
We got 38.
the 20mm stuff. So I'm going to lift it up on the ramp and go up from underneath. So that's relatively easy. That and that will coincide with each other. I'll do that probably maybe tomorrow, Thursday night, whatever. So all I've got to do is weld that hole up on that back door and track in and probably just tweak the boot up, but we can always do that at the weekend. We're getting there, is the answer. In the face! There's a puddle on the roof, Squiz.
Yeah, cheers for that.
Wow.
That do.
Got a little bit of TLC to do on the lorry as well, which we can't forget about before the weekend. I know it's going to be my house for 3 days. Can't wait to paint it either and get rid of this white front. We've got a leaky brake chamber, which we noticed at the last meeting. Not a brake chamber, I don't even know what the right terminology for it is. Let me bring you down here.
How do they come out? Do it again.
It's louder when it was running, I think. It's fixed itself! When I noticed it doing it the other day, it was a lot louder.
Yeah.
And I thought it was coming out of that vent at the bottom. Yeah, there you go.
Bubbles!
There you go, life lesson if you want to find an air leak. Oh, it looks like it's got a condom hanging off the bottom of it now. So, whilst Squirrel's downstairs changing that brake chamber thing, whatever it is, I'm going to get the bedroom ready for the weekender quickly. Now, my lorry has 4 seats here upon the back seat where there used to be a bottom bunk. Because of the kids and the car seats and whatever, I needed seats with seat belts built in to put the car seats in. Obviously then I've took the bed out, so what I've done is I've then got a top bunk and I've put that back in last year or the year before for the weekender. Let's open the sunroof. But I've had to lift the mounts up because obviously the headrest of the seat is a little bit higher. So the slight... What?
Stop wobbling in the cab.
Why?
I'm under it.
Well, the legs are down.
Yeah, the cab still wobbles.
You know, just whatever. My really sexy curtains have fallen off, so I need to fix that as well. Right, I had to faff about a little bit, but that's the bed down and sorted. As I said before, because of the seats in the back here, the hinge for that top bunk should be about there. So I had to lift it up about 3 or 4 inches either side, which means then the original straps to hold the bed up were too long. So the old garden chain method works quite perfect. Tried and tested last year. 2 pillows and a blanket. Probably get a sleeping bag or something from home, but that fit me in there perfect. Stopped me falling out. Back seats when we go racing with the kids, which I've off-centered because at the time my youngest was a baby then, so the pram and that used to slot down the side. But that's our little storage boot. Sometimes if we go to my mother-in-law's, if we do an Ipswich, a Mildenhall or Yarmouth or something and we stay up there for the weekend, we end up with suitcases and whatever else all stacked up in that corner, bungee strapped to death in the corner, and it just kind of works, you know. It's not a very good race transport by a lot of people's measures, you know, with all these other formulas where they've got all the living and everything else, but to jump in, go a couple of hours up the road and go racing, it does us all right. Then I'll go, look at the curtains. eBay special last year. Nice. Sunroof leaks, like there's no tomorrow. So that needs fixing. And she's a bit tatty, but yeah. We'll load that up to the rafters on Friday. All the camping bits and bobs, and off we go. Right, that about wraps it up for this one. It's a bit of a mixed match episode, I know. There was a bit of sign writing, and then there was the bit the day before, and then the day after, and then a mixed match, and a bit from before the weekend, and then there was a bit from Monday night, and yeah, it's been a bit all over the place. The live threw us out a little bit, obviously, but that was really good to get that done, and that had a lot of good feedback. Both the cars are about done now. When I talk to you now, this bit, it's Wednesday before the weekender, and I'm at a stage where this is done. I've swapped them over because I didn't know if the P4 had diff oil in it from when we put the lock diff in the back axle. Turns out it has, because most of it went down my arm and into my armpit. So that's smelly, as if I wasn't smelly already with the sun beating down on a shed and looking like this. I mean, look now. 10 tyres we've just made up, 5 for this, 5 for the Jag, and that's about it. I've got to load up. I've got some bits to do tomorrow. Obviously we're there for 3 days, so I've got to get the barbecue out, the gazebo's out, sort through what we've got, what we need, gas bottle I think for the barbecue, and then hopefully we can get up there Friday afternoon. This video should come out tomorrow, which will be the Thursday before the weekend, and I'll be at the track from the Friday night. So we'll try and film as much as we can when we're up there. Obviously 2 days of racing, so I'm gonna have to make sure I charge up loads of GoPro batteries and bits and bobs for the cars. Hopefully I actually get it right this time and I don't time lapse everything on the camera in the cars. And we'll film some bits around the camp, talking lots of rubbish I'm sure. Hope you've enjoyed it. As normal, like, share, subscribe, all that sort of thing. And we'll see you tomorrow or the day after.